Hi there, everybody. Will here with Just in Time Prepping. How are you guys doing this fine day? Hey, it's kind of warm out here. I think summer is upon us. Hey, I was just sitting out here in the garage today worrying about what we should do when shit hits the fan. And one of the things that we should think about is fishing. See, it doesn't take much to really think about, but when shit hits the fan, we have to have a way to get our food for us in case all of the food stores are gone down. And fishing's a very simple way to do that. Everybody that lives in rural America probably has a fishing pole, and people in the city, some people have them also. They uh, like to go out in the country and do some fishing, but have you ever thought about having it just as a food source? Not many people think about that, but we can only store so much up and get ready for things that happen to us when shit hits the fan. So I was thinking maybe just talk about some other ways that we could do it, and it makes sense to have a fishing pole and some fishing gear so that you can possibly catch some fish and be able to feed your family at the same time. So these are some of the things that kind of pop into mind for us. So, it doesn't take much for us to have just a few things prepared ahead of time. So you have a fishing pole and some fishing line and a hook and some bobbers or whatever, however you want to do. You can get the line out in the water and hopefully catch some fish. Some other things that I was thinking about, and it doesn't really matter too much. Oh, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got my ears lowered, so I gotta get something on my head. My thinking cap is what I call it. And so, along the lines of fishing, you have to be able to find the creek beds and lakes and stuff. So that comes into play about your food and your water and your shelter, is trying to find a place if you're bugging out to go out and make sure that you're around some water. If you don't have, when you get out there, you have to have a way of making the water so it's drinkable. That's where this comes into play, is do you have a way to purify your water? There's several ways to do that, and one of the main ways that I do it, I have tablets, and they're set up in my to-go bag, and you put them in your water jug, and you shake it up, and you let it sit there for about, I think it's about 20 minutes what I did when I did my test. And then after you do that, then you take the second stage of pill, and you throw that in there, and you just shake it up, and then you can look at the water. You just watch it, and it'll just turn crystal clear. Then, guess what? You've got water that's good enough to drink. Now, the pills that I use are good to use for large quantities of water. So you don't want to just fill up a water jug. You want to have on hand bigger supply. The pills I have, there's enough in the jar, in the little, they're little glass jars, and there's enough in there to do like 600 gallons. So you want to be able to do at least 100 gallons at a time, and that makes sure that your family has enough water. So there's some of the things that you need to think about when you're going out and you're doing some stuff, around outside, and you're doing some fishing. Maybe get you some of those tablets and play around with finding out how to purify water for yourself. Because you don't want to do all this stuff. You don't want to just get the stuff and throw them in a bag. You want to be able to know what they do when the time comes. So what I do is when I go fishing, I grab bottles of tablets and I take them with me, and I go out. I scoop up some of the lake water or the creek water, wherever I'm at, and I sit there and I play around with those tablets that I have, and I make sure I know how to use them. So, in the long run, it really helps to know it's sort of like a job. You have to know your job and able to do it. Well, that's the same way with being able to handle yourself when shit hits the fan. You have to know how everything works that you have. And another thing is that you want to find a group to get into so that you know everybody in your group has something different that they're good at. And so that's all really you have to think about. Today's thing was really about fishing. Fishing is a very good food source. Uh, Most people are going to rely on hunting, but if you think about it and you do the research on it, when all the food's gone, everybody in the whole dang world is going to revert back to the days when they went out and they hunted for food. If you really think about it, all the wild game will be gone. The calculation for that is all the wild game will be gone within the first couple of years. And so then after that, everybody will start thinking about using the domestic animals. Well, did you know that there's roughly 6 million domestic animals that you can eat? And I researched this because it just kind of interested me. So, 6 million animals among how many people? Okay, you got all these people and they're going to start eating all these domesticated animals. Pretty soon the food storage and the food source is going to be going away. So you have to just know all these things in order to survive when shit hits the fan. The domestic animals, this was really interesting to me, is that all these farmers raise all these cattle, you know. Well, when shit hits the fan, people are going to be out there, they're going to be doing what the old cowboys did. They're going to be rustling for food. And probably it will be like a WROL situation. And so, you know, they'll be having ways of going out and rustling their food, like cows. Cows will be a big thing. Horse meat will be a big thing. So, you know, I'm not going to go out and practice doing that. I'll get shot, so will you. But it's something to think about. So we all come back to this, because I don't want to get shot. So I'm learning how to fish. You know, fish taste good. Fish are actually good for the heart, you know. So there you go. So think about what you're going to do. You know, you store up your food. Your food's going to run out. What are you going to do when your food runs out? That's a big thing right there. What are you going to do when your food stores run out? So going to have to go out and find your own food. And there's only so much food to be had. Especially if shit hits the fan, like North Korea drops a nuke on us or whatever. It's going to be hard for us to fend for ourselves. Your food stores, if you're like me, I have food stored up for 6 months. But after 6 months, what are you going to do? You know, that's the type of mindset you have to have. It's like yesterday's video when I told you, mentally prepare yourself. You know, mentally prepare yourself for the whole scenario. Not just for a few months, but for maybe a long-term thing, you know. So, fishing, hunting, that's what we're going to revert back to, basically. And hopefully the animals, people will be smart enough to start reproducing the animals and not rape the land. I guess that's the best word. If you rape the land of all animals, you need to let them reproduce, you know, start taking just the male animals so the female animals can reproduce. But not everyone's going to think in that frame of mind. They're going to be just out there, they see something that will feed their family, they're going to take it. But we, as survivors, we need to start thinking about that as a whole and try to make it so that we're only taking so many animals, just enough for us to eat, just enough for us to eat for maybe a year, and that gives the animals time to reproduce. And not everybody's going to think like that, so it's up to us to educate others. And if we all educate each other and we start over again, the world won't be the same, but it'll be a starting point. So that's something I wanted to think about for us today, as how we're going to take care of ourselves when our food stores for ourselves run out. Is we're going to have to go out, we're going to have to live off the land. Now that's happened, it happened back in the early days. People had to go out and survive off the land. So you got to live off the land intelligently. That's being mentally prepared. Go out and take just enough for yourself. Don't overkill. And teach everybody that you know to do the same. And slowly but surely, we'll all start to build the world back together again. And you know, you might think I'm just an old guy out here talking foolish stuff, but I'm not. It's all stuff that'll help you mentally prepare for when shit hits the fan. So that's what I got for you guys today. I want you guys to leave comments down below. Remember, I answer all the comments, and I really appreciate it. I'm starting to work on a new idea. I'm going to make some t-shirts, and they're going to have the logo that you see on my videos for just-in-time prepping, and I'm going to have some t-shirts, and I'm going to start giving them away to people that leave comments, and if you send me something, I send you something type of stuff. So if you really want to get involved in my channel, that's a way that I'll try to make it so that you can spread the word about my channel. So remember, I want you to give my channel a thumbs up. I want you to give all preparing channels a thumbs up. And I want you to spread the word about what happens when shit hits the fan. So for today, that's it. I want you guys to know that I love you, and that I love our country, and God bless you, and God bless the US of A. I'll catch you next time. Bye.